What's up, sons? It's Blind Red with Son of a Tech once again, and we have to talk about Sumokoin and Ryo, a little bit of the drama and what Son of a Tech, who actually has a Sumokoin pool over here, is going to do about it. By Son of a Tech, I mean myself and my pool operator, Dane. We were actually out of town this weekend for an event in Austin called DreamHack, and we were playing some games live over on my Twitch channel, which you're welcome to go follow as well at twitch.tv/sonofatech_. We did promptly get back yesterday and managed to go through with the fork on Sumokoin back to Cryptonite from Cryptonite Heavy. Now, do we agree with it? No. Just because we swapped and fixed what it did doesn't mean we agree with what they're doing. We're going to talk a little bit about the drama, why they're doing it, and what our plans as Son of a Tech is here in the short future. So stick around. Welcome back. So if you haven't been keeping track, Sumokoin essentially swapped to Cryptonite Heavy thanks to a developer named Fire Ice UK. You've probably heard of him with his XMR miner and so on, and he has a very good fork of it. We've used it on the channel plenty of times. Now, when the ASICs were released and announced by Bitmain for, of course, the Cryptonite algorithm, everybody jumped ship from Cryptonite and started forking to other options. Monero went to Monero V7 or Cryptonite V7. We saw Turtlecoin go to Cryptonite Lite V7, and we saw Sumokoin go to Cryptonite Heavy. Now, Cryptonite Heavy is not an algorithm I've been super happy with in general as it is. So I did want to point that out. The reason I'm not a big fan of Cryptonite Heavy is that it does at this point pretty much kick off all CPU mining options. It's going to be a little bit too heavy on the cache side, the L3 cache requirements, for you to effectively mine it with a CPU. And one of the things I really like about Cryptonite in general is that you could feasibly mine with your CPU on your mining rig along with your GPUs and have a pretty good experience. Of course, now we have bigger problems because apparently what was going on, well, to the best of my knowledge, there's a whole bunch of drama. The very basics of it is that the Sumo owners, the original owners, were basically holding some coins back from Fire Ice. So there kind of broke out an argument there, and they basically were getting ready to split ways. Now, the way Sumokoin said it went down, and there are two parties, there's always two sides of the story. I'm just giving you guys a little bit of insight, what I know. And the way it went down was essentially they thought or said that Fire Ice was doing a whole bunch of research to go ahead and take over via a soft fork. So he wanted to take over Sumokoin and then take that name and use it. And I think that we saw some sketchy things that could have been a possibility, but I don't want to speak to that any further. I want to tell you guys what that actually ended up translating into. So basically all you need to know is drama is Fire Ice said he wasn't getting paid by Sumo. He also had a problem with all of the devs being anonymous. And then Sumokoin said Fire Ice was trying to take over the network. So there's basically the two options you have there. Whichever way you want to go with that, it ended up being very unprofessional on both sides. And as the pool op here that has to work through that, and you all as the miners that have to work through that, we have to see what the two options are going to be and what they're forking to. Now, why would we go straight to Sumo? That makes it look like we are supporting Sumokoin and we are against, of course, Ryo. That's not really the case. We already have in Google, generated enough of the SEO for Sumokoin that if we swapped that particular pool to Ryo, it wouldn't really translate over very well. So we're going to be looking at standing up another pool. In the meantime, what we wanted to do was make sure that our other pool continues to work. Regardless of what side you're on, you need the option for either one. So what we did was roll back and perform the hard fork yesterday and have our Sumo pool running on, of course, Sumokoin. So that's going to be the Cryptonite algorithm. We released a tweet, of course, and have been getting messages all day about that. So that's why we're making the video. I do wish I would have done one last night. Now, in regards to Ryo, the problem with Ryo right now currently is they are making commits non-stop. And on their GitHub, we don't really have anything stable. Even in our Discord, they were kind enough to come out and say, hey, we just had an emergency patch, so on and so forth. And that's fine, but we don't really want to stand up a pool and spend hours upon hours upon hours troubleshooting because they're making a commit every 5 minutes. So we're waiting on that because it's not reliable or stable enough for us to be able to run a pool. And we really just don't want to stay up 24/7 trying to maintain that pool. Now the Sumo pool seems to be working fine. We dropped to 44 miners, understandably. Now my concern here is I don't think they realized quite how many people were on the GPU side, and that could hurt Sumokoin, and I'm a little salty that they went ahead and decided to perform that change also so quickly. However, I will say at least it worked. Now if we go take a look at sumopools.com, we used to be at sumopool.sonofatech number 4 on the list. We are now number 9. There's some big ones taking over like hashvault.pro and so on. So the attack of the ASICs is happening here already, and the price of the coin is dumping. So I don't think it's something you really want to spend a whole bunch of time mining necessarily, and I'm just going to put that warning out there for you. Now, if you do have an ASIC and you want to pop it onto our pool, completely feel free to. Is the price going to go down further? Most likely with all this bad press, and after I release this video, yes. And are the devs, do they have, the community in mind when they made this change? And I genuinely think that in regards to Sumokoin, they did not. Now, Ryo's a whole nother story. They're unreliable. It's not ready. Their product's not ready enough for us to roll a pool out for. When it does, or if it does, we'll open up a pool. It'll probably be at ryo.sonofatech.com, and I'll make a video on it, and you can come over and mine. At this point, the video on how to mine Sumokoin after the fork is now invalid. However, the good thing is my original how to mine Sumokoin is valid. Now, the whys are still a majority the same. You have privacy, so on and so forth, other than the argument for ASIC resistant, which Sumokoin no longer is. If you also go ahead and pop over to our pool at sumopool.sonofatech.com, you'll also notice that our time find, thanks to the rest of the network taking off due to ASICs and none of them deciding to be on our GPU hobbyist miner pool, which is understandable. You'll notice that the difficulty spiked, the hash rate dropped, and the workers dropped. So that means at this point we're not finding blocks for like months. And this is probably a dead pool. We're going to leave it up. We'll see what happens for a little bit, and then we are probably going to shut this down. We will stand up a Ryo, see if you guys like mining that over there. If you don't and we need to move that off, we'll shut that one down too. We've gone through a few of these before. It's just the life of running pools and trying to support different networks. However, it is us supporting that coin to a certain extent, just even having a pool, and I'm conflicted on either wanting to support either side after the completely unprofessional display on both ends. I'll leave links to all the drama in the description below. I'm not really curious or interested in talking about that too much, primarily because we have a lot of work to do. And I need to get back to that. Hope you guys understand. We did miss Rig Wars this week, so I'm going to try to record Rig Wars and probably release it on Tuesday. It'll be late, but we'll get it out. I'm going to go spend some time with the kids as well, so everything's a little frantic. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, or at least gathered some sort of clearer understanding of what's going on with Sumokoin, Ryo, and all of that. If any of the devs from either side want to reach out to me and actually help us through this, because I was asking for a while for help through this, feel free to. Let us also know if you're working on the Ryo team or Fire Ice, if you have a team member that wants to reach out with us and work with us on that pool. If it's going to be stable and we can keep it up 24/7, whenever you feel that it's at that point, let me know. We'll spin it up. We'll get a pool up to help support there. And we'll see what happens from there on out. See you next Tuesday.